The Zebu show. In the ring at this time is class 106. This is 36 months and older of Zebus. We have an entry from Sarah Rummel and an entry from Carissa Lowry. Our judge today for the Zebu show is Monty Williams. He's been in judging for 30 years, and he says retired 30 years ag teacher from Texas. We appreciate Monty coming all the way up to judge the exotic breed of Zebu, and our secretary slash ringman is Eric Toft.
Well, good afternoon, Denver, Colorado, and it's certainly a pleasure to be able to come out here and evaluate these cattle today, and I like working with folks from different ends of the country, whether I'm in Miami or whether I'm in Denver or I'm at the Colorado State Fair or Houston or wherever. It's a pleasure to be able to get to work with people from different ends of the world, and these are definitely different cattle than most people are used to looking at. These cattle were bred on an island. They were not selectively bred by people. Nature did them, so we're going to try to keep them that way. They have many useful purposes. So let's talk about them a little bit on some of the things we're looking for, because some of the things that I'm going to be looking for are breed character. And you'd have to get the rule book out and really read it about it, but we're going to talk about the shape of the skull. We're going to talk about whether they have structural integrity, whether they can get out and move. We'll talk about depth of body from that spine down to that navel. You'll see me get in front of them and see if they're tracking true to their skeleton on their front end. I'll get behind them and see if they're tracking true to their skeleton on their back end. Are they walking way out and kicking their wheels out, or are they walking straight in line and not narrowing up? Just structural integrity things are very, very important in all breeds. The other thing that we look at is the strength of their top line. Are they straight from that hump back to that hip? Are they good-legged? Do they have some bone? Now, in this particular class, these steers have a little age on them. This guy on this other end over here, old Caleb, he's 14 years old. He got a few years in him. Thor, down on that end, the gray one, he's only a 5-year-old. But we're still looking at the same thing. We're still looking at structural integrity. We're looking at breed conformation. I personally pay attention to where that hump is, whether I'm judging big Brahmins or I'm judging the little Z's, the mini Zebus. I pay attention to that hump placement. It's just some of the breed characteristic things. I look at those eyes. I look at those feet. Are they sound? I look at the smoothness of that shoulder. I pay attention to how much capacity is in that center portion of body. When I look at that guy, and he's kind of spooky, so I got to move slow and steady. But from behind that shoulder to that hip right there, how much rib shape and capacity does he have? Are they smooth? I know the hair looks a little rough today. Heck, my hair looks rough today. You know, I was kind of like waiting on the van. I was like, sprinkle some Andale on bringing that van over here, guys. I'm ready to go. And then I got to look, and I wasn't near ready. Their hair's a little rough because it's cool. And these are subtropical animals, but they can adapt to this environment. Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to place them today. We're going to leave them lined up just like they are. I'm not about to dethrone this 14-year-old veteran, but I'm telling y'all, this guy right here is reserve champion steer today, and his day is coming because he's getting better and better, and his structural integrity is separating himself from everybody else. It won't be long, and he'll be the man. But today, Caleb's the man. Let's give him a round of applause for bringing you some good ones.
Your results from Class 106 of Zebu. In second place is Animal Safe Haven Farms Thor, owner Kristen Watson, exhibitor Carissa Lowry. In first place is Fancher Love Ranch, Kenya Caleb, owner is Sarah Rummel, as well as the exhibitor. They do become your respective Grand and Reserve Grand champions in the Steers division. Up next within the show is Class 201, 0 to 6 months of age for junior bulls. In the ring we have 3 entries. We have William Hughes, Jeanette Magnuson with 2 entries.
Whenever you turn this thing on and get it really the button up right, it helps there. Before we place these guys, I'm going to tell you real quick, one of the attributes of this breed you can see out here right now. We got Autumn and we got Harley, and look, they're very young. They can handle these animals. So if you got grandkids or you got kids, here's one of the things on the mini breeds. I can tell you in Texas, because I run a lot of cattle in Texas, but it's getting down now. I can probably count on 20 different ranches that need a semi to load up, the cattle. Now, there's still a handful of them. We got to have 8 or 10 semis there to load up cattle. But there is a slew of ground down there in Texas that's been fragmented down into 5 and 10 and 15 and 20 acre places, just like around here. And you need to have these kind of cattle on there so you can get the agriculture write-off. And guess what? Your kiddos and your grandkids have a blast. We get out here, we've got a variance. Now, this guy down here, he's just a month old. So he's really, really green. He's really, really hard to read when you get out here. But when you get in here and you look at him, you like this guy. He's got a lot of pieces coming together. I know some of y'all are looking at him and go, how do you read that? Well, it's just like going out in the pasture and you see a calf that's born, and you can tell when he's a day old from there on whether he's going to be a great one or not. And I'm going to tell you right now, with the alertness, the attractiveness in the front 1/3, the way that forerib ties into that shoulder, and the structure out of that hip. Lots of good things coming with this one. I hadn't placed them yet. I'm just telling you about them. The gray one here in the middle, you like the extension that it has from that shoulder blade up to the base of that skull. You like the shape of that skull. I know some of y'all have a hard time reading that, but I like it. From that hump up to the skull, smoothness out of that shoulder, the rib shape that it's given me, and the power and stoutness out of that hip with the right amount of bone. You're not going to see any massive bone cattle in here, okay? I judge steer shows all over Texas. I get it. I run In God We Trust. I run business done right. I get it. We win a lot of county shows. This is a different deal. So take that into consideration. A little bit different deal here. But this guy here balances up nicely too. And then the young ladies down on this end, here's one that's super extended in that front 1/3. Beautiful hump placement, has some rib shape, maybe not the power and dimension out of that rear quarter, but has enough circumference of bone in there that you've got to like it. I wish that calf there was a little bit older so everybody else could see it, and then they'd know where I was going in there. Because right now, if I use them right now, everybody's going to go, what in the world are you doing? But I'm telling you, because I run cattle, I like that guy. One's down on that end, two's down on this end, three's in the middle, but I love them all. Give them a round of applause.
Your results from Class 201 of 0 to 6 months in the Junior Zebu Bull Show. In third place, we have Jeanette Magnuson with Bowie. In second place, Jeanette Magnuson with Raive. In first place, your class winner is JW's Gaius Maximus from William Hughes. Set to enter the ring at this time will be Class 202, 7 to 12 months of age for the Junior Zebu Bulls. We have two entries, one from Pat De Niro and one from William Hughes.
So some of the things I look at on these young bulls, we were talking about structural integrity. I want to watch them as they move about. And when they're walking, I want that back foot to come down where that front foot was. I want it reaching out. I don't want it short striding. I want to make sure that that structure is sound on these cattle. So we're going to talk about them, and then I'll place them. This is an April bull calf down here on this end. Very smooth, very, very extended in that front 1/3. Has some look, has some shape in the ribs, has some circumference of bone, and has some power out of that hip. Really, really like that guy, the way he's designed. I'd like to see him just a notch bigger, but I like his design. He'll come on this summer when it warms up. He'll turn the crank, and he'll look a lot different. Then we got a December 21 bull right here. You look at this. If he holds that head up and you watch that guy, he's got the right hump shape, beautiful head placement on him. Not disappointed when I get into the center portion of the body. He's got some rib shape and some power. He's got a nice structure out of that hip. Watch him as he's moving around. He's putting those back feet down where the front feet were. He'll be first today. The little guy will be second over there. I like him, and not because he's bigger. I'm just saying I like the design on him so much better. Give him a round of applause for bringing two really nice bulls out here today.
Your results from Class 202 of the 7 to 12-month-old junior bulls in the Zebu show. In second place is Minnie's Golden Gideon by Pat De Niro. In first place, and your class winner, is Ace in the Hole with William Hughes. In the ring at this time is Class 203, age range of 13 to 18 months. We have Sarah Rummel, Miles Watson, and Jeanette Magnuson.
So as we get out here at this stage of their life, once we get past that year, we start looking at some of the things, and I don't know how to say it. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I only graduated with 8 other kids. Thank God for Sally Mendoza, or I was dead last. But I did get into the top 10 in my class. So that does count at a little country school. No, really, I just try to say as gently as I can, they've got to have the hardware at this time in their life to get things done. Because eventually these guys are going to be breeding bulls. And so we start looking at testicular development and things like that, and whether their body is extruding some testosterone and they're starting to look masculine, you know, and all ripped and all that. Those are things we start looking at in our mind. We start going. So let's talk about them, and then we're going to go ahead and place them. The little guy down on this end, obviously a little smaller in stature and a little younger than the other guys. But here's one that's starting to get his head shaped up. He's starting to put, you know, some hump in there. I might want to, you know, clip him down a little bit and change his appearance, because, I mean, at times you catch him not being as smooth off that shoulder, and then on the move, he is smooth. So you got to go with, yeah, he's probably smooth. That's just a lot of hair in there. And then you get over here and you look at him, and you're not disappointed when you get over the top and from behind. Plenty powerful enough for his age. Red guy just really, really you got to like. The Red Bull, he puts a balance into the mix. He comes out here to look at the extension from that shoulder blade and up to the base of that skull. Then you get over there and you evaluate his hump. You're not disappointed when you look down his top. You might want to pull him apart just a little bit back there at those pin bones, but that's getting real picky on a guy. But he's got plenty of depth from that spine down to his sheath, plenty of depth of body and plenty of rib shape to him, but so attractive. And like I say, if I could pull him back in those pin bones and spread his hip out just a little bit there, wow, he's lights out. Always tell everybody in Texas, Taco Bell, 1 o'clock in the morning, lights are out, boys, it's over with. Then we got the gray guy down here. You like him. Here's a guy that is smooth, smooth, smooth. But before you start looking at how smooth he is, study his skull. Study that hourglass shape of that head. Look at the horn development. Look at the alertness of the eyes already. He's got the right ear shape. He knows he's pretty. His mama told him he was pretty when he was little, and he's still buying into that program. Long spine from that shoulder and up where that hub's placed at, all the way back, super long spine. Got one knock, I might want to clip him up or trim him up or strengthen him up on that front right foot just a little bit. But we're in Denver. I'm going to be picky. You know I am. But you got to love him. When you get behind him, he's got the depth of body, he's got the shape, and he's got the look. So how are we going to do them? 1, 2, 3. Give them all a round of applause. They're great. And you guys got them right. You judged them up there. I was watching you to see where you were pointing, whether I was going to get it right or not. Appreciate that help.
Your results from Class 203 of 13 to 18 months of age for junior bulls in the Zebu show. In third place, Sarah Rummel. In second place, Miles Watson. In first place, Jeanette Magnuson. In the ring at this time should be Class 204, 19 to 24 months of age. For junior Zebu bull, we have one entry, Jeanette Magnuson with switch.
Everybody that was in the stands that heard me saying I had some help over there, you all get to help me on this one, okay? Because there's only a single entry, so we're all hoping that we get this guy right. You know, we don't want to mess this deal up. Single entry in this older bull class, but get out here and look at him. We're not even going to park him there and then walk. We're just going to show you what he's got because he's so attractive. Look at this guy. Once again, start at that head. Is that head hourglass shaped? Yes. Look at the horn development on him. Is he got the right horn? Yes. Look over here now. How much extension does he have from that shoulder blade into the base of that skull? Does he have some neck? Is there some extension there? He's got enough. Got a nice hump. It's not leaning one side or the other, placed where it needs to be at. Go from that hump back. Is he long spined? You bet. Power out of that hip, big footed, attractive, powerful. Yes, it's going to be interesting to see how he lines up in the champion drive. We're fixing to do the champion drive. Here's a very, very nice. Did everybody pick that one right? Everybody got it right? Give yourself a round of applause and give him a round of applause. He did a good job.
Your results from Class 204 of 19 to 24 months of age Junior Zebu Bowl. In first place, class winner, Jeanette Magnuson with switch. At this time, we will bring back first and seconds from Class 201, 202, 203, and 204 for our Grand Champion and Reserve Grand Champion selection of your Junior Zebu Bulls.
Okay, I don't want to knock John Denver out of the way, but we're going to start talking about him. Got a month old, got a yearling, 18, 20 months old. So not that big of a difference between these in age. But, you know, tremendous spread between there and there. And I'll tell you this right now. Given a little time, you know where my heart goes because I like the attractiveness. But today I'm looking at bulls. And if we were going to go out and you were going to tell me, Monty, get me a bull and get me 10 females put together, they're in here right now, the bulls that I would be selecting, and it just depends upon how fast you got to move your program along. For me, I look at several factors out here. I look at feet, I look at head design, I look at body. We won't drag the deal out. Bring that cat right there out. He's going to be my champion today. Give him a round of applause. He puts it all together. And then we bring in that second place bull out of that class for consideration out here. And I'm telling y'all, a little more time with this guy here. He's getting better and better. He's a different design in that skull than the rest of them. But I like everything else about him. Gets really, really difficult because I like the Red Bull down on that end. I'm in love with the little guy, but I just don't think I can justify in my mind. Because as the old ranchers always tell me whenever I'm selling bulls, whether they're Santa Gertrudis or Brahmins or whatever, I always try to sneak one or two young bulls on the trailer and we let them off and then they pick through them. They always go to those 2-year-olds and they buy those 2-year-olds. Why don't y'all like these young bulls? They're going to be better bulls down the road. Many a slip between the cup and the lip. Got to have enough time for that young guy to get there because a lot of things can go wrong in between there. Don't talk so much, Monty. Knock this deal out. Here's my reserve champion right here, one that just kind of blends in. I love this guy. Given time, you guys will see him next year. He'll be the one that you're going to get around. Give them all a round of applause. Good job. Our senior bull division only has 2 entries in the senior bulls over here. Got a 7 and an 8-year-old bull. The little gray bull down on this end, man, he's nice. Look the way he blends in on that front 1/3. You love that skull. You love that horn development. Head is shaped right. Tremendous hump design in him, the way it lays in there. I like particularly how clean he is when he comes down out of his chest floor, down there out of that brisket, very clean. Powerful out of that top, powerful down that side, and the dimension that he gives me in that center portion of body. Gets off on a big old rugged foot, has nice testicular development. Gonna knock him? He's kind of like me. He's 1 taco over the limit. We probably need to be a little less generous with that feed because he's not fat, but we're both 1 taco over the limit in Texas. That's the way we'd put that deal. Then we got the 8-year-old bull down here. Maybe a little more rugged in his design. Maybe not as attractive. His horns are droop horns. They're not the up horns, and that's okay. That's perfectly acceptable. I guess what separated him, he's got everything the same except I'd like to clean him up in that depth of that chest floor. He drops, when you come out of those front legs, he gets a little deeper in that chest floor than the other guy. So champion is here. Reserve champion senior bull is there. Congratulate them. They both brought you some beautiful animals. Thank you. Okay, if you're still in the stands or you're on the sidelines and you're watching and you're wondering what in the world are they doing now, this is called a champion challenge. You can tell who the old guy is in here, right? You can look at him and say, ooh, he's seen many moons. He has been there a while. He's been a champion numerous times. These are the challengers. They're the ones that are coming up and going, I think we're good enough to dethrone him. So my job now is to look at breed characteristics, individual characteristics. You know, they're all out here for a reason because they're all good. There's no sorry ones out here at this point. They're all good. But this guy's 14 years old, so we got to give him his due respect, okay? Let me take a look at them. I'll tell you how we're going to do them. We'll line them up sideways. Y'all can look and see what I'm looking at. But by now, you're all starting to see the power, the masculinity, and the things that these bulls have. You just have to envision this just like you do on the big ones. Instead of 2,600 pounds, I'm looking at these. So I'm looking at the same thing, but I'm trying to work it in my mind. we get out of here in our champion challenge, the only one we haven't discussed because we said we like the young bull. He's coming. He's not there yet, but he's coming. We like the aged bull down there on everything except for what? He was one taco over the limit, right? He was a little bit carrying a little more conditioning. He was like me. Okay. Then we got the older guy down here. And the older guy down here, you've got to like him for a lot of things. Head's right, horns are right, hump's right, top's right, powerful out of that hip, big bellied individual. You're going to knock him, only knock you have on him, and you probably can't see it from where you're sitting at, but his feet. I'd like to correct the foot shape on him just a little bit. That's a result of overfeeding a little bit, and when you're 14 years old, that happens a little bit. It's kind of like me. I've matured myself. I only take 5 Oreo cookies out of the package and not the whole package to the chair anymore. So I understand these things as we go along. I like this guy a whole lot. I can't see a reason to dethrone him. He's my champion today.
Your champion still remains Fancher Love Ranch Lucky from Sarah Rummel. At this time, we will bring in our heifer division. We'll have Class 302, 4 to 7 months of age. We have one entry from Julie Hughes, and JW's Fancy Was My Name.
Okay, as we start off our female division, we change gears a little bit in our mind. We've got a single entry out here in this class. Now we start talking femininity. We start looking for females that are going to make brood cows. We're looking at, are they feminine-headed? They don't need to be big, rugged-headed. They don't have to have that big, massive hump on there. She's 4 to 7 months old. She's great out of that hip, great out of that top, tremendous capacity in that center portion of body. What you will see from your stands or on the sidelines is from that shoulder to that head, the length and extension that she has. She's good enough footed underneath her there. When you look at her feet, she's good enough. Give her a round of applause. She's number one and can take some competition if they desire to come in after her.
Your results from Class 302 of 4 to 7 months of age for Zebu heifers. In first place is Fancy Was My Name from Julie Hughes. Set to enter the ring at this time is Class 303, which is 8 to 11 months of age for heifers. We have 2 entries, one from Pat De Niro with Mermaid Farms Ms. Macy, and another entry from Pat De Niro with DBL Minis Charlie.
Two heifers out here, both of them are 9 months old. I'll tell you this much right now. A lot of times when you're selling cattle, color makes a difference, all right? Some people like or are attracted to a louder colored calf. Well, this one on this end, definitely loud colored with that painted up head. Boy, I tell you what, and got some paint on those legs and a little chrome back there on that tail. Very, very attractive. Here's a female. You know, she's not really holding herself the way you want her today. She's cold today. She's been wet and she's got a little chill today. But she's got a lot of the things I look for. She's got some balance. She's got some symmetry. You like the front 1/3 on her. You're not disenchanted over that center portion of body, and you're not disenchanted at all over the skeletal development. The red calf's a little plainer. Not quite as loud colored, but nothing wrong with the design. The design is still there. Super feminine, super attractive, simply not wanting to cooperate and walk around the ring as well as the other one. But today, because color sells, 1 and 2.
Your results for Class 303. In second place is Pat De Niro with DBL Minis Charlie. In first place, your class winner is Mermaid Farms Ms. Macy from Pat De Niro. In the ring at this time is Class 304, 12 to 17 months of age. We have the one lone entry from Jeanette Magnuson with Liberty.
Pay attention out here. Here's another single entry. Now, one of the terminologies that we haven't heard much today, and when I was training all these livestock judging teams when I was an ag teacher, was width of base. How wide do they stand? You don't want them standing too wide, but you want them standing wide enough. Look at the width of base, the natural power that she's projecting out of that front and rear 1/3. She's showing you she has some natural width of base. Because I always used to tell the kids, will that animal fit inside of that animal when we were livestock judging? You know, we were always looking at things like that. Look at the femininity that she's projecting out of that head. Super, super feminine. Attractive in her design in that front 1/3. Super shape into that center portion of body. Powerful out of that hip. Just the right amount of circumference in that bone work. So what's the key word we're looking for in this one? Balance, balance, balance. Give her a round of applause.
Your results from Class 304. Your class winner is Liberty from Jeanette Magnuson. In the ring at this time will be Class 305. We have a single entry from William Hughes with HH Ranch, Dahlia.
Another single entry class out here. Once again, I don't want to be repetitive. Look at that front 1/3 and look at the extension from that shoulder up to the base of that skull. Do you see how she's got that rocket neck coming up out of there? Okay, nice hump placement, you bet you. Smooth, smooth, smooth. That shoulder is as smooth as you can get one. Top has some shape and power in it. I'm not disappointed when I look behind and down on the side profile on how much depth of body she has. I like the power and the slope. And one of the things a lot of people don't understand, these animals have a natural slope from that hook to pin area. All the other breeds, we try to level them up. You don't see that. When you're out around Denver and you're riding around and you look at a doe, how is she designed? Nature made her where her slip. That helps whenever they're calving. So there's little things that you look for in each breed as you judge around the United States. I like that female. I might want to try to straighten her out just a little bit on her back right leg. She turns just a little bit. But other than that, man, you got to like her for the length of spine, power, femininity that she gives you in a package. Give her a round of applause, please.
Your results from Class 305 of Zebu heifers. In first place is Ranch Dahlia from William Hughes. At this time, we will bring back our first and seconds for our Grand Champion and Reserve Grand Champion selection of the Zebu heifers.
As we come out here and we look for our champion and our reserve champion females of the show, if you followed what I told you, we didn't have a large number of cattle today, but the quality of these cattle are as good as anything I've seen anywhere in the South. And we had a big show in Shreveport, a big show. The quality is here. So before I go out and show you the one that I like the best, because I always tell everybody, look, if I only had X number of dollars and I can only buy one, which one do I think I can take home, breed, and get herd bulls back out of, or show females back out of, or donor cows back out of? That's how I select them, because I need a female that's going to make me money back. So if I only had money to buy one, which is the girl that I'm looking for? And if you look out in here, there's several different directions you can go. For me, I told y'all when we were judging them, what was the key word? Balance, balance, and balance. Bring her out of that third hole right there. There's your female. That's your champion of Denver today.
Your grand champion Zebu heifer comes from Class 304, and that is Liberty from Jeanette Magnuson.
gets a little closer when we get to this reserve, doesn't it? Because you got a couple different directions you can go. You got the young ones down here, and they're hard to read, but you know, if you've been around cattle, you can read them. You got one with a little more maturity, you can read her really easy. For me, the one that suits me best, I still dug down in my pocket, and I still had a little cash down in my pocket. I walked right over here and said, I'm taking this female right here to the house. She's my reserve because I like her a lot. And I'm not taking anything away from this one, because as she gets a little more maturity with that color, what did I tell you earlier? Color sells. Give them a round of applause. All of them are great females in their own right.
Your reserve grand champion heifer comes from class 302, and that is JW's Fancy Was My Name from Julie Hughes. Up next within the Zebu show is going to be our cows division, starting with class 309 with 36 to 47 months of age. We have one entry from Pat De Niro with JW's Claudia Octavia. I'm getting the signal from our secretary. No. Sorry, Ringman Eric Toft. All right, 309 is a scratch, and we're moving directly into 310. So 48 to 59 months of age. We have two entries in this class, one from Jeanette Magnuson and Carissa Lowry. Once again, our judge today is Monty Williams. He is a 30 years retired ag teacher from Texas. He does run 200 head of cattle plus 4 separate herds. He has judged many shows from Miami to Denver and numerous shows in Houston, Shreveport, etc., etc.
That etc. was simply superfluous. Irrelevant how many you've showed. If you don't get them right, they're going to revoke your scholarship. I can tell you that right now. What's the first thing you notice on these two females? Because there's only about 6 months separating them. First thing you notice, or you should notice, besides color, is the length of hair, right? And I don't put a whole lot of stock in that because this is a different environment than if we were on the Gulf Coast of Texas. Now, we did get a little cool down there, but you don't need a whole lot of hair down there. It just gets in the way. When you look at them, they're very similar in their makeup. They're both long-bodied. They're both really feminine. One has erect horns. One has nubby horns. One has a long switch. That's the end of their tail. She can reach around, squat a fly all the way up there at her shoulder. Obviously, this sister was sitting around, hanging around somewheres, and she got stepped on. If she didn't get stepped on, the coyotes ran her down and did a little number on her. Big, powerful top, width of base. The only thing I can really knock this female on, I'd like to shape those front feet just a little better if I can, kind of take them up just a little bit, not much, but just a little bit. I will say this much. The width of base on both these females, fabulous. They have some power, true power to them. They stand wide-based. Extra long, extra attractive in her color and her makeup. You wish she had the same horns that she had, but that's just the way it is. The chrome on her catches your eye, but you get past that and look at the power out in the center portion of the body, the rib shape and dimension that she gives. She's just extra, extra fancy. Give them both a round of applause. Good job, guys.
Your results from Class 310 of Zebu cows: in second place, Jeanette Magnuson. In first place is Carissa Lowry. Coming up in the ring at this time is Class 311. This is 60 to 71 months of age. We have the lone entry of Cherry Twist from Jeanette Magnuson.
Well, Cherry Twist, I don't know if somebody spent too much time at Sonic or we were just grasping the straw names out of there. You gotta like this female. I know she's not loud colored. I know she's solid pretty much, other than the darkness on her head and on her certain points of her body. But look at the quality of the female. Can you see what I'm talking about when I said that coffin-shaped head? The way the horns are shaped coming up out of that skull. The hump doesn't lean one way or the other. It stays right where it needs to be up on top of those shoulders. Good-footed, good enough. You'd like to kind of shape, you know, when they get a little older, they're going to be bigger-footed, and you'd like to shape that up. Deep-bodied, square enough out of that hip with some slope and angulation to it. Enough bone. She's not massive bone, but she's got enough. She couples herself together really nice. Love the attitude of the female. Guys, if you hadn't figured this out in life, attitude in females goes a long ways to being a happy guy. So that female right there, she's very, very smooth, calm, and complete. Give that Cherry Twist a round of applause. She can stack in there with the best of them.
Your results from Class 311 with the good attitude is Cherry Twist from Jeanette Magnuson. Set to enter the ring at this time will be Class 312. We have a single entry from Robin Conder from Robin's Little Critter Ranch, Adele.
A September of 14 female out here, so she needs to be looking like a mature cow. When you go off the breed character and you look at the skull, is that skull shaped right? Does she have a coffin-shaped head? Yes. Are the horns attractive? Are they upright? Do they look good? You bet you. Nice design. Yeah, on some of these cattle up here in this country, I'd probably want to take a griddle brick and kind of slick them down a little bit and pull some of that dead hair out. You don't have to. I look at cattle every day of my life. I can read them. Okay? That's just the way it is. I like that hump, and I draw that line from the top of that hump down to that brisket. She's smooth enough. She's got extra rib in her when you look at her nearly. She's so long. Big, wide top. You know, some guys are going to sit there and criticize her on her foot shape on the front end. She gets a little flatter than that. If you ever come down to my country and you walk out there in those rice fields, you'll figure out why they got to have that, because otherwise you're going to sink if if you can't outrun the mosquitoes. Broody, broody, broody. Give her a round of applause. She can stack in there. We'll see how she does when she comes back.
Your results from Class 312. In first place is Robbins Little Critter Ranch Adele. At this time, we will bring back our first and seconds from Class 309, 310, 311, and 312 for our Grand Champion and Reserve Champion selections.
So we get all our first places, and we come out here to select a champion out of this division. You got a little variance in there, but not that much. All of them are very, very well balanced, attractive, broody females in this senior division over in here. I think the one that's probably going to suit me the best today, I know she's not cleaned up. I know there's some of you guys go, well, Monty, she wasn't. Guys, these are Zebus. They don't need to be washed and handled in cold water. Go ahead and bring her out. You know I liked her before. I like her again. I'd like to have her a little cleaner, but it's just the way it is. It's cold. I was cold. I came out looking like ZZ Top, sharp-dressed man, and ended up looking like Uncle Buck, okay? It just wasn't a pretty sight. So I get it today. Give her a round of applause. So that's your champion. Not going to drag it out. Great female right there. Lots of chrome, attractive. And what did we say earlier? Color sells, but quality sells too. All of them are great. Thank you, guys.
Your Grand Champion Zebu cow comes from Class 312, and that is Robbins Little Critter Ranch Adele from Robin Conder. Your reserve champion goes to Safe Haven Farms Harvest Moon with Carissa Lowry. And at this time, we have a champion challenge from our champion that we just was crowned with the heifer and the cows, coming in to challenge William Hughes with Fancher Love Ranch Queen of Hearts.
All right, we're doing that champion challenge again. Young female here was champion out of her division. Gray female down there was champion out of her division. So you got a young champion and an older champion coming up against an older, which is like a 6-year-old champion, to see if they can dethrone her. We haven't really talked about this female, but you've heard me talk about breed characteristics and things like that. When you look at her, you see everything we talked about. The shape of the head, shape of the horns, circumference of bone, structure, hump placement, smoothness, femininity. She's heavy bred. Let's watch her walk. We'll get a side profile, and we'll make a decision. Is she still the best female out here today, or do these two females that were champions dethrone her? One of those. Let's look at them and see.
So once again, our younger heifer is Liberty from Jeanette Magnuson, and our older cow is Robin's little critter, Adele from Robin Condor, challenging Fancher Love Ranch Queen of Hearts from William Hughes.
Before I name whether she's still the champion or one of these are going to dethrone her, I just want to tell everybody, I know we still have showmanship, but this pretty much is the female show. And I want to tell y'all, thank you for allowing me to come out here, evaluate the cattle, work with you guys. I hope that my reasoning was self-explanatory. I hope I didn't offend anybody by any of my remarks, because sometimes y'all know I only graduated with 8 other kids. I'm a little crude. I can understand that, you know. But the one thing you'll always get with Monty Williams is an honest opinion on cattle. I'll tell you, it may not be the opinion you want, but I'll give you mine. When I get out here and I evaluate this female, from the tip of her nose to the tip of her tail, I look at the length of body that she's projecting. I look at that super feminine head, super long extended neck, right amount of bone work up underneath there. She's heavy bred. She's got some broodiness and some capacity in that center portion of body. I don't think she's overly conditioned. I don't think she's under conditioned. And these two girls follow suit right in there. They're all champions in their own right. But today, she's so dang attractive, you can't pass this old gal up. You move her right on up in there and put that crown on her. She's still my champion. Give her a round of applause, please. Give them all a round of applause. All of them are great females. Good job. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, still on top, and your reigning champion is Fancher Love Ranch Queen of Hearts from William Hughes. At this time, we will bring in our youth showmanship class. We have 2 junior showmen, Harley Rummel and Autumn Haps.
Okay, so we've got showmanship. We've got two young ladies that are going to come out here and compete for showmanship. I have a peewee and I have a junior, which is a little older than the peewee. But I'm going to let them show together and compete against each other, but they're both going to be champions within their division. I just thought by bringing them out, you can kind of watch. We're going to walk them in a complete circle. Then we're going to line them up facing that way, and we're just going to kind of look and see. Because to me, showmanship should be that. It should be how fast and how accurate you can get your animal lined up. Because I can tell you right now, in Houston, Texas, in the open show, bull show, you better have that booger in there walking like a tomcat, and he better be set up within about 5 seconds. Because those guys are rolling so fast. It's kind of like in the auction barn in the ring. You got about your 5 seconds of fame, and that's it. So you got to be able to do it right. These young ladies have been working. You watch them. They try to get that animal set up to the best of their ability. They have those legs scissored. Then they pull them up. Then they get them squared up. They hold their heads up a little bit. They try to make sure those tops are nice and level. They make sure that those animals, and I kind of like the gray one, it's trying to eat the card over there and eat the chain, but that kind of stretches that neck out. And what did I tell you? You'll hear every other judge in the nation tell you the same thing. Extension in that front 1/3, that rocket neck coming up. That's where a lot of them are going, and that's fine. I still like to see a brood potential female out there. I want one with some rib shape. I want one top. I want one that has some angularity about them. Both these young ladies do that. I'm going to ask them a few questions, and then we're going to let them get their champion rosettes, and we're going to conclude this deal. And thank y'all. Okay. One more thing. The youth in each breed is the future of your programs in your industry. You've got to take time and let these kids participate. I can't tell you how important it is to have a strong youth program. If you have that, you have a future. Without these young kids like these, you have no future. But these are competitive. They know the right answers. They know how to get their animals presented. Give them a loud round of applause. These girls worked their tail ends off and did a great job. Thank you, Denver.
Your champion showman, Harley Rummel, and your other champion showman is Autumn Haps. This does conclude our Zebu